So happy 2018, everyone. Oprah Winfrey always says, cheers to a new year and another chance to get it right. So thank you to the Chamber for the privilege of coming before you again and outlining how the city hopes to keep getting it right. Those of you who've heard me speak before know that I believe that our city's success depends on focus and investment on three pillars: flourishing businesses, engaged neighborhoods, and responsive, decisive government. You represent those flourishing businesses. As always, on behalf of the council, I want to sincerely thank you for locating here. We know that you can locate in a lot of places, and you choose Kirkland to call your home. Thank you. So last Friday was February 2nd. It was Groundhog Day, and I'm pleased to report that our hardworking city manager crawled out of his office and saw his own shadow. And that means, according to legend, Kirkland legend, that means 6 more years of prosperity ahead of us. What I think we all love about that other Groundhog Day story is that while the main events of the day remain the same, our hero discovers that small but important changes in how he treats others creates real transformation. By focusing on being a better person and making the world a better place for others, he creates a better life for himself. Preparing for this State of the City speech felt a little bit like Groundhog Day to me. As I reviewed my past remarks, I found that nearly all the key elements remain the same. In 2014, I told you that the state of the city was poised. In 2015, I said the state of the city was strong. In 2016, I said the state of the city was thriving. And in 2017, I said that Kirkland was blossoming. Each of those statements remains true. Kirkland's growing by leaps and bounds. The economy remains red hot. Unemployment and vacancy rates are near historic lows, and the number of new businesses and residents in Kirkland are at an all-time high. In our permit pipeline today, we have over 4,700 units of housing, 1.5 million square feet of commercial and office space. Another 564,000 square feet of institutional redevelopment is happening, including the renovation and the expansion of Juanita High School, which you heard about, and construction of a brand new Peter Kirk Elementary School. We have a lot of crowding in our schools, and I'm excited to see those plans go forward. The great news is that all of the projects are happening in accordance with the vision developed by our community during that Kirkland 2035 planning process. Our Kirkland community imagined us as a vibrant, attractive, green, and welcoming place to live, work, and play. They asked us to provide new jobs, new services, and diverse housing choices, and to steer these investments into walkable, mixed-use urban centers that are served by transit. They encouraged us to preserve single-family neighborhoods and to enact thoughtful environmental regulations to protect our tree canopy, reduce flooding and the risk of landslide, and to improve our water quality. We have accomplished each of these tasks. Kirkland also remains an award-winning government. We've maintained our AAA credit rating and once again earned the Government Finance Officer's Distinguished Budget Award. In their words, reflecting the commitment of the governing body and staff to meet the highest principles of government budgeting. Pepperdine's Davenport Institute for Public Leadership conferred upon Kirkland a Gold Award for our public engagement efforts, stating that the city of Kirkland strives to place its residents at the center of policymaking. Our new Park Lane, entered a National Great Street Award, earned a Great Street Award. From the American Planning Association, only one of 5 streets in all 50 states to be so recognized. According to the APA, Park Lane enriches the economy, facilitates economic growth, and inspires others around the country. And together, the city of Kirkland and Robert Pantley's family business with Elizabeth here earned the governor's prestigious Smart Communities Award for the public-private partnership that resulted in Arate, a LEED Platinum project that is, in their words, a model of urban planning that sparks economic development with beautiful architecture, affordable housing, and environmental sustainability. I want to say that your city council is incredibly proud of the team that we assembled at City Hall. And I say we, I actually mean that the council only hires one person, and that's our city manager, Kurt Triplett, and he hires the rest. And they are the cream of the crop in our region, an accomplished and talented group of professionals dedicated to public service, taking a leadership role in our region. I'm going to call out a couple things, but there's so much more. Our city manager leads the board of ARCH, a regional coalition for housing. Our deputy city manager, Tracy Dunlap, is the chair of the eGov Alliance, heading up tech initiatives to provide best-in-class service to our constituents. And most recently, our own Jim Lopez and his team were recognized by the Washington City's Insurance Authority for their work on risk management on behalf of the city. I'm going to say that risk management may not sound exciting, but it is exciting, and it saves taxpayer dollars. And as business people, you know that risk management is incredibly important. And Samantha already asked our staff to stand, but I think I'll ask them to stand again. Would you stand, please, and be recognized? It's the tip of the iceberg of the 500 to 600 employees who work every day to keep this city moving and going forward and doing the real work. So it's important that we remember the jobs that they do for us. 2018, new year, same booming economy, same standards of excellence. This is a very special time in Kirkland, and we're all fortunate to be a part of it. But we cannot take this good fortune for granted. Good times don't always last. The achievements that we have didn't happen by accident. They're the result of generations of investments by citizens who came before us in our jewel of a city, investments that we're so well known for. They're the result of entrepreneurial investment by our companies and by intentional, careful planning by the city. It's our responsibility to protect and enhance these investments. Since 2011, Kirkland's adopted a city work program, and the current program's at your table. It highlights the major initiatives that the city is pursuing to maintain a strong organization and a high quality of life for our residents and businesses. Within the next year, we hope to see the first East Side Women and Family Shelter built in Kirkland, and I want to thank our staff for their leadership and this council for their leadership. As Bellevue and others struggle to do this work, we have been amazingly successful. I'm really proud of us. Within the next 5 years, we'll see new ramps from the 405 into Totem Lake, linking our urban center to the region. We'll see new workforce housing built at the Kingsgate Park and Ride. We'll see a new Sound Transit station at 85th and 405, connecting downtown Kirkland and the 85th Street corridor to a river of bus rapid transit, from Everett to Bellevue to Renton to SeaTac. That work program is what we live by. It keeps us focused on doing the right things and doing them well. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the retirement of Councilmember Doreen Marchioni. Doreen led our council and taught us how to disagree without being disagreeable and how to work with our staff and each other as a team. She brought common sense and dignity to our office. We are really going to miss Doreen in 2018. But I want to tell you that you have a dynamic new city council. And I'd like to tell you just a tiny sentence about some of the things that they are working on, and I hold them in the highest respect. Deputy Mayor Jay Arnold asks, how can we become a leader in environmental stewardship at the city and in Kirkland? He works hard, he's an experienced planning commissioner, works hard every day to bring creative compromises to us on the council, enable us saying, that's not a word, helping us to move forward on difficult issues. Councilmember Sweet asks, are we prepared for a major emergency? Do our police and fire service have everything they need to keep us safe? She constantly advocates. She's also our unofficial liaison to the state legislature. That might be an inside baseball joke, but Penny is married to State Representative Larry Springer. Councilmember Nixon is the champion of open government in our state. He provides invaluable advice and information about the city and the council's activities on social media. And he is the master of technical detail and Robert's rules, and we just turn to him as our expert on those issues. Councilmember Asher leads our working group that works with our state legislators, and he was the one who asked Kirkland needs the ramps at 132nd and WashDOT needs the $75 million to build them. Why not Kirkland? He's also a strong advocate for involvement and active neighborhood associations. Councilmember Pascal has taken his passionate advocacy that he made so famous on Finn Hill citywide. He cares about investments that make life better and that Kirkland is known for: parks, streets, walking paths that connect neighborhoods, sidewalks, bike lanes. Our newest member, Councilmember Neer, you all know through his work on the Kirkland Parks Foundation, and if you don't, you should know about it. It's really important, good work. Tom's business background and strong financial knowledge, as well as his commitment to being a public servant, will serve the city well. So the building blocks of continued prosperity are moving into place, but so too are challenges that can undo our hard work. Too many of our residents struggle with, if it's not poverty, it's struggling, getting by, and homelessness, with undertreated mental illness and addiction, with violence in the home against partners and children. The skyrocketing cost of housing only exacerbates these obstacles. You may know that dozens of families sleep in their car every night at one of our churches on 132nd and throughout our city. We will not thrive as a community if we can't create homes for our teachers, first responders, our everyday employees at banks, at our coffee shops. We won't be a complete community if our children and our parents can't stay in their hometown. Coretta Scott King famously asked, "Why should there be poverty with all of our science and technology? There is no deficit of human resources. It's a deficit of human will." Kirkland has acted, and we will continue to act. We recently created our first ever Human Services Commission to advise us on how to more effectively serve those in need. We also budgeted record investments in our Housing Trust Fund and our Human Services Program. The work of our Housing Strategy Group, there's some of you on that group here today, is almost complete, and we look forward to hearing their recommendations on how to tackle housing in our city. Through new state legislation that we championed, Kirkland has been able to invest in our women and family shelter and in the preservation of affordable housing in perpetuity at the Houghton Court Apartments. Our progressive development regulations have resulted in over 400 units of dedicated affordable housing that will come online in the next 2 years. But despite our efforts, more must be done. The region of GoDaddy, Bluetooth, Google, of INRIX and Evergreen, and others on this wall, has within us to solve these problems. So I say to you that the state of the city is striving. We are striving to be the most just and compassionate city, a complete community. We are striving to be a safe place to raise a family, to be a place where one can find a home by their work or work by their home, and where they have options on how to get around, where they have choices and time for indoor and outdoor activity and fun. And we are striving to be the very best run government, a government that all of our citizens can continue to trust and to be proud of. We have challenges. The council must respond to the legitimate concerns of our neighborhoods that today's growth can overwhelm us, that we have come too far too fast. This council is committed to ensuring the livability of Kirkland. In 2018, through a partnership with our community, we'll develop the 2019 to 2020 biennial budget and work program. We know we need to prioritize spending and providing responsible and responsive police and fire services, safe streets, and great parks for those who are here today and those who are yet to come. But this will also be the last budget we adopt before we lose almost $4 million a year in state support for our 2011 annexation of our new neighborhoods. As we planned, sales tax revenue from Kirkland Urban and the Village at Totem Lake will help close the gap. But this council must manage that gap and balance new investments with staying fiscally disciplined and financially sound. Conversations about major new investments are a year or so away. So this year, our opportunity to improve our community comes not from funding great initiatives, but in how we treat each other. I see the great work of 2018 revolving around one significant work program element that needs our focus, and that is fostering an inclusive, welcoming community and a love of Kirkland. Kirkland's made great strides in being both a model of prosperity and a model of tolerance and inclusion, but we can do so much more. February is Heritage Month in Kirkland and Black History Month throughout the nation. We have iconic examples in our past whose words can help us imagine an even brighter future. Just a few months ago, the real Rosie the Riveter, Naomi Parker Fraley, passed away. She was the woman who inspired the famous "We Can Do It" poster that's become synonymous with the tidal wave of women who entered the workforce in the 1940s to get the job done. Tens of thousands of these women worked at Boeing and right here in Kirkland, building Navy warships at the Lake Washington shipyards, not far from where we are sitting today. In troubled times where fear and hatred of those different from ourselves is being exposed or even fostered, once again, it will be millions of women and our enlightened men rising up and saying that every person matters and calling on us to strive for a better America. The women's marches said, our society achieves so much more when we value all people and when we celebrate people of all ages and abilities, all races, religions, all genders, and orientations. Susan B. Anthony got it right when she said, it was we the people, not we the white male citizens, but we the whole people who formed the Union, and we formed it not to give the blessings of liberty, but to secure them to the whole people. By exploring what it means to be welcoming and inclusive, by having the conversations and making the decisions that mean we really welcome and celebrate everyone, Kirkland has a chance to lead the way. Harriet Tubman said, every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and change the world. We can make the creation of a complete community in Kirkland more than a dream. We can make it our work in 2018. Not everyone will be comfortable with this conversation. Once again, from Susan B. Anthony, cautious, careful people, always casting about to preserve their reputations, can never effect reform. We must stop being cautious and start being daring. The only way to make change happen is to strive for it, to plan for it, to innovate, and then to execute on our plans. Let's strive to work together to make Kirkland the most welcoming and inclusive city in the nation. And by doing that, we will keep Kirkland the most livable city in America. Thank you.